Hi, welcome to Women in Midlife. I'm Karen. Thank you for coming to my channel where we are going to talk about anything and everything that pertains to women over 50s. So stick around and we'll be back. Hi, everybody. This is Karen again from Women in Midlife. We are now continuing with Raffy Liu for our second part conversation that we had from last week. Hi, Raffy. How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm good. Hi, Karen.
So just to recap from our last conversation, we talked about how you took care of your father and that you don't regret any moment of spending with him and all the challenges that came with it. And then we left with whether your mom, who is now you are taking care of her as well, whether she's stepping up by taking care of herself with by going to the doctors and taking the supplements that you provide her. So what is the progression with your relationship with your mom?
Okay, so between me and my mom, it's more a little bit, I will say, complicated. I'm not sure. So, okay, since Karen got two daughters, I'm not sure if that case will imply to your family. So, not apply to your family. It's like I feel like since we are all women, so okay, at the same time we are kind of like good friends, best friend, but at the same time we are like an enemy in a certain way.
Love-hate
So it's like
relationship.
woman, yeah. So that's the case between me and my mom. So I think it need to go back to when I was a little girl. Like I mentioned last time, not sure if I talked to you guys before. I actually grew up with my nanny.
Mm-hmm.
My nanny, who is the one who take care of me. So ever since when I was like in first month old, all the way to 7 years old, I was living with my nanny. So I will say internally, I feel like I'm more close to my nanny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. But with my mom, it's like when I was a little girl, to me, she's always a superwoman in this world because she's very successful. Like, I will say she's kind of like successful in her business, and then she put all her heart in our family, provide everything to us. Because my dad is kind of like playboy in this world. He's like always traveling, doing his own thing, and then like hanging out with his friend. So as my mom, she's a very responsibility kind of person. But at the same time, I think the way I grew up, because I'm meeting so many people in different world, in different level. So like I mentioned last time, when I was a little girl, I know I want to be entrepreneur. I know I want to be the richest person in this world. Okay, and I need to be super successful.
Right.
So I do have the very, very high expectation to me
Of
and then to
yourself.
people around me.
Understand.
Of course. So definitely, I was at the big bar for my parents.
Right.
So I still remember when I was 10 years old, I told my mom something very, very bad. It's like one day when she cannot buy me something, I forgot it's like LV or Gucci or kind of bag. Just 10 years old. Like right now I think about why 10 years old lady need a girl need a LV
A Gucci.
handbag. Exactly. When I was a little girl, I always so into all the luxury brands. And then my mom's cannot buy me one LV or something. And I'm like, oh, you are a bad mom. Like, you know what? No matter how hardworking you are, no matter how much money you give me, I will never ever be satisfied.
Okay, we are back. I'm sorry about just now. The internet was just not very stable. So you had very high expectation of yourself and the people around you. And when mom couldn't buy you the LV bag that you wanted at 10 years old, you told her that you were very disappointed with her. Am I right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I mean, knowing that you do have very high expectation of yourself, and is it because your parents has set those expectations on you, or is it just you naturally setting those high expectations?
Well, I will say it's me, myself, and then, of course, people around me, but definitely not my parents. My parents is, well, I will say my parents is I want to say they are best parents in this world in terms of like being supported, because they are super open-minded. They never ever say no to me, no matter whatever crazy things I thinking for my entire childhood. Everything I share with them, they won't judge me.
Okay,
They
that's good.
always like follow my the flow of my mind.
Right.
And then maybe they will share with some of their ideas, they share stories. They are like, they guide to me, but they will never ever say, no, you cannot do this, you cannot think about this.
Right.
Never ever.
Right.
But in Chinese culture, you will meet so many people around you. So let's say all the teacher, uncle, auntie, they do put high expectation on me.
Yeah.
So that's why
So this is the thing that I want to talk to you about, because um, uh, in a lot of ways I had this, or I still have this somewhat for a long time. So I set very high expectations of what I should be, what kind of mother I should be, what kind of boss I should be, what kind of person I have to project to society how I should be.
yes.
And I want to share with you my experience that when you do that, it's not only mentally and physically exhausting, because you got to perform at that level for a long time, and you can't, we are human, there's no way we can perform at that level all the time. But as a
Yeah.
mother, essentially you have two young children, is that when I do that, I indirectly put a lot of pressure to my children, because then they are absorbing all that energy, and they will always feel that no matter what I do, my mom will never be happy with what I do. So my advice is to you as a young mother is you have to learn to take this away from you. I'm saying as an older woman to a younger mom, is that I have gone through that experience, and the pressure that I indirectly put on my children was so big that there was a time where they got so stressed being around me, because it may not be the what you say, it's the indirect actions that you do, or how you get upset when someone didn't do the things exactly the way you want it, or you clean up after your husband when he wiped the table, all these little things that adds up, and then it becomes, they will observe and they will absorb all these things. So and again, because we are so worried what society, what uncles and aunties gonna see about us, and I think that's something that we have to let go, because
Exactly.
yeah, and I want to share this with you, because you're still young and there's still a lot of change that you have to go, and I only got to this comfortable level after so many years, and it's something that I think you because if you don't want your children to hate you, where they say, well, no matter what I do, she will never be happy anyway, right? Right. So
Correct.
and that is a lot of pressure, and even with your spouse, because your husband will say one day, hey, no matter what I do, no matter how much I earn, is she's never happy, she's never contented with it, and
Yes,
that
correct.
can be a problem, that can be a
Exactly. Yeah, so everything you just say, I think I've been to that kind of stage, no matter it's with my mom or I think nowadays people are more and more talking about, like, with the psychology terms as well, like original family. What's the impact how you grow up? And then sometimes it's gonna influence to your future life. So I do agree with you. I actually been to the stages like my husband feel like, honey, I really try my best. I do love you, but no matter how hard she try to help me, he always can feel I'm just not happy. And then of course with my kids, even though they are so small, like kids are so sensitive nowadays.
Yes.
They just know everything. They can feel mom just not happy at all. So that's why I start to still back to my business, because I noticed that I'm just so business oriented, like I mentioned all the time. And then when I'm meeting all the people and I'm just so full into my business, that's the energy bring. Okay, that's my how I absorb my energy, or how I restart. Okay, not restart, 充电. Like recharge. Yeah,
Re-energize. Yeah.
recharge myself. Yeah, that's how I recharge myself. So I noticed that when I trying to get balance with my work, my job, my career, and then with my family,
Right.
more and more is getting better.
Okay, that's good. And I think a good friend actually advised, which is the children have to see mom being silly and making mistakes, because
Yes.
we have this tendency where we think that we have to be very serious and we have to be perfect because we are mom, and they have to see that. So one of the best advice someone actually gave to me is just show that mommy is human and mommy is silly and
Yes.
mommy can make mistakes, and
Yes.
then they will start to relate with you. And I learned to just I'm still learning, to be a better mom, to just make those mistakes and be open about it and say, oh well, I didn't know everything anyways, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think with the thing you just mentioned about, I need to thank you I need to be thank you to my father, because my dad is like kind of like steady father.
Yeah.
And then he always tell people, he always, for his entire life, he always teach my mom saying sorry is okay.
Yes.
It's okay to make mistake, because my mom's always worried about she just cannot make mistake, and she will never ever say sorry for her entire life. She's that tough.
Yeah.
And then, but thank God I got my father. So every time if I make mistake, I just make joke myself. So that's what I did to my kids too. So I think with this part, it's quite okay for me, and then between me and my kids. I mean, I, like you mentioned, I want to be with them, not just being a mom. That's very important.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that is the takeaway to our audience today is that especially being Asian moms, we don't have to portray ourselves to be this super duper perfect mom, cannot make mistake kind of mom, because there
Yeah.
it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, and we are human.
Exactly.
And we make mistakes.
Yes.
And it's okay to say
Yes.
sorry, and that hey, we didn't do right, and we have never done it, so we made mistakes. And the children, the children will see it, and that is something that I think our audience will appreciate, knowing what this is today. Yeah. So,
Exactly. And then the other advice I want to give is, that's what I did with my that's what I did to my kids. For example, with the younger children, or they always ask why, and then why this and why that, and then they are so curious about everything, right? And then we need to be honest. As a human being, we are not robots. We are not Google in our. There's no Google in my mind.
Yeah.
So I just cannot. Of course, it's okay. I cannot answer anything, but I always told my kids, say, you know what? Let's find out together.
Yes.
And every single thing they ask, I will say, you know what? Let's find out together.
Exactly.
And then the other thing I always do is I give them a title to being my coach. Everything. I will say, honey, you know what? You go to school, learn your pinyin, because I didn't know how to do pinyin, okay?
Right.
And then my kids, obviously, they learn pinyin. I say, mommy doesn't know pinyin, okay? So you go to school, learn your pinyin, and you come back teach me. I want to learn from you. So you need to be so good. Okay, you need to learn with your classmate, your teacher. And then so in this case, they are more willing to do something.
Yes.
Because they feel like, oh, mommy want to learn from me, so I need to be the best. I need to learn everything so I can teach her.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very good reverse psychology kind of thing. And I hope our young mothers who are listening to us or watching this YouTube will also take that away, because we have to be a bit more forgiving about how we are, and that it's okay. Sometimes different cultures, different behaviors that come to it, isn't it? So
Exactly.
in conclusion, what would be the thing that you like to tell the audience, about what the takeaway for you moving forward as a young mom in the next 10 years? How do you think you want to improve yourself as a person, as a young mother, and what advice would you give our audience?
Okay, so my main advice for every single woman in this world, or let's say every single person in this world, is focusing on yourself first. Like, know what you love, because that's very important. When you know what you love, you have passion on it, and then just do whatever you feel like it can make you happy. That's very important, because
Okay.
I noticed that if we force ourselves to do something we just doesn't want to do, we don't want to do, it's gonna make us stress. And then, like Karen just say, when you stress, the whole energy you send out to people around you, every single people feel so stressful.
Yes.
That's just the synergy is very, very, you just cannot imagine. It's just right there. You cannot see that, but the synergy and the energy is right there.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to tell every person, just find out what's your love, and then just focus on yourself. Every single day we wake up, it's okay. You feel a little bit tired today. It's all right. So like I mentioned, I'm routine exerciser. Okay, I do exercise every single day.
Right.
But I need to be honest. Sometimes we stay up late, and then the next morning you feel like a little bit sore, muscle sore, kind of things. Usually I will still force myself to do the exercise.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say is, it's okay to take a break.
Yes.
You know what? That's fine. Well, let's say if you feel like you are just super tired today, even for example, usually I do 1 hour. Maybe today you should do 30 minutes, and which is good enough. Good enough is perfect. Like, we don't need to be 100 score on everything.
100%.
But I think for every rule, we just do 75. Good enough.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you again, Raffy. It's so nice, and I wish the internet was a little better. Hopefully we can talk again soon, and
yes, definitely.
and we'll have more insights conversation with each other. Thanks, Raffy.
No problem.
Take care.
All right, thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Bye-bye.